Right, should we explain who's on?
Yeah. Go on.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Our guest today, Susie Dent.
Yeah.
Who I've known for, who I've known for a few years. Very nice lady.
Who is Susie Dent? Because I don't watch TV.
Susie Dent is a regular.
I do know who Susie Dent. I'm just imagining being a listener. Who
I know you thought that.
Right.
Who is a regular contributor on the Channel 4 show Countdown. She is Dictionary Corner. So when people guess, what?
Sorry.
What was that? Very dramatic.
I don't know. Just a really. Yeah. So we're going to play Countdown with Susie, aren't we?
Well, I hope so. She's up for it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm sending Vivian that book
Great.
to read to us.
Great. Brilliant.
The
Great.
Extraordinary Life of Britain's Smallest Man.
Perfect.
So
She's in Dictionary Corner,
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
she?
People will know. She basically adjudicates like the game. So they'll say someone will guess a 7-letter word, and it might not be a word, might not be in the dictionary. And she's a lexicographer, which is a
lexicographer.
Is it lexicographer?
I don't think so.
Something like that.
I mean, it might be. The topographer sort of threw me a bit.
Susie Dent.
Lexicographer. Brilliant. A person who compiles dictionaries is not a lexicographer.
Okay. She has appeared in Dictionary Corner on Channel 4's game show Countdown since 1992. She also appeared.
Wow, 1992. I was singing
31 years.
Happy, happy, happy. When she got that gig, I was writing the song Believe.
What was I doing? Oh, well, I was being 17 A-levels, struggling with my A-levels, asking my mum if I could drop out of French A-level.
Oh, yeah. God, I remember all that. Yeah.
Because I was struggling.
What did Mummy say?
What did Mummy say? Why don't you just give it a go? Do your best. Doesn't matter. They were really nice. It doesn't matter if you don't get it. Just try.
Yeah.
And I think.
How did you respond to that? You didn't try.
I, in the moment, believed I would try.
Yeah.
And then telly got in the way, like it always did. I was
You're living your dream. You're on the telly.
Yeah,
you must. You sometimes go, I'm on the telly.
No, but I should do. I remember having an agreement because I used to get very bad school reports because I didn't try.
Yeah.
And Mum and Dad sat me down and said, look, just try. Please just try. And I remember going, I will. I remember crying because they were really upset and everything. And then we sort of worked it out, hugged and said, okay, we're all sorry because we're all right.
How old are you?
Maybe 15 or something.
Yeah.
And then I went into the next room and I immediately put the telly on.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember you. Yeah.
Oh, I told it.
No, it's good. It's worth listening to again, definitely.
And Mum just came in and...
Lost her, really?
Yeah, she's just like...
What does she say now? You're like, wow, you've done it. Well done. Love you, babe.
Not as succinct as you. Wow, you've done it. Love you, babe. I'd be like, what are you talking like that for?
I love that you were a proper TV nerd and you've ended up on TV. It's everything you ever wanted.
Well, no, all I ever wanted was to watch it. I didn't give a shit about being on it. Just loved watching it.
What did you watch at that age that was so good?
I watched everything. Like
what? Like
I just liked having it on all the time. Anything. Like from the moment I got in from school, I remember I'd be taking my bag and shoes. The telly would be on straight away, and I'd be taking my bag and shoes off while sat.
Yeah. I
And
think
then-
I did as well. I loved that little hour and a half before
And
the
then-
news.
And then Mum would come in about 6 or something, and I'd sort of put the stuff in the hallway because it'd just be at my feet.
Yeah.
And
Literally nothing has changed.
no.
Is it? So you can watch it on the bog now, basically.
Yeah, fucking hell. I would have rectangular eyes now if I was a kid. If I could, I would be walking from room to room watching telly on my phone, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Which is not far off what I do now, but
Oh, Susie's running late.
oh,
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Well, we're actually on a roll here, so
I don't know if we are. What were you like at school? Did you try?
not at all. Not at all. No. I always felt slightly below the clever level.
Yeah, I did.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's just one big test
Yeah.
when you're most vulnerable.
Do you know what I've said loads as an adult? School's all a memory test. That's all it is. I've said it so many times, and I'm not good at remembering stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's why I didn't do very well. And I've always said I didn't care. But I guess I cared.
Yeah. Yeah, bugger.
Please join us now, Susie.
Poor old Susie coming into this.
Coming on the back of this. God, if she came in now, I know I'd say, where did you come in your class? Were you top? What was that like?
God, I want to know what it feels like to be like ultra intelligent. Do you get like a feeling in your bones? You get like little, ooh.
That's what immediately separates you from them.
Or are you never, ever clever enough?
Well, when do you know you're clever? That's another thing that's always interesting.
Let's Google that. When do you know you're clever?
Because you know when you're not
When
pretty early on.
do you know you are clever? When you know the word is not lexicographer. 10 signs you're highly intelligent.
Oh, here we go. Wicked. Go on.
Okay. 1.
Answer them. Let's answer them. Truthfully. Answer them truthfully.
You're empathetic and compassionate.
I think I am.
Really?
I think I am.
You're curious about the world.
Not as much as I should be.
You're observant.
No, I'm not, I don't think.
You have self-control.
Yeah, not bad at self-control. I'd say half good at that.
Or C plus.
No, I'm a B
You have
minus.
you have a good working memory.
No.
You recognise your limits. This is crap. I want to know, how big an elephant is.
Yeah. Well, you can't just change the test because it's not enjoyable.
Okay, here we go. 9 signs you're more intelligent than you think.
Okay.
Number 1, you're creative.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I already feel sick.
You're messy.
Oh, yeah, I'm super messy, yeah. God, maybe I am.
You talk to yourself.
I do talk
This
to
is
myself.
bollocks.
I do talk. No, it's not. Keep talking.
It's rubbish.
I'm 3 out of 3.
You know how big an elephant is.
No, I don't. Oh, Susie's here.
Oh,
I always get the thing before you. Hi, Susie.
Hey, I'm so sorry I'm late.
Not
Did you
at
get
all.
my message?
Yes. How's the dentist?
Well, I think I should have realised that it was a filling appointment. I just thought it was a checkup. And he was giving me injections, and I said, well, as long as I can talk at 11. And he said, we're not due to finish till 11. Anyway,
Have you got, no, it's not at all. Have you got numb? Oh, sorry, this is Dave.
No.
David, Susie.
hello. I'm just.
Hi. Hello.
Are you numb? Are you
Yeah,
I
numb
am a bit numb, but it's not, honestly, it's not that bad. I'm not slurring or anything. It's just so boring.
You are slurring about.
I was about to
Am
go
I?
cut Jimmy Carr and go, obviously been on the sauce sort of joke. And I'm like, leave it.
Yes. Yes, definitely leave that.
Did you have a filling?
I had my first filling in, I don't know, 20 years.
Yeah,
And
I had one years ago. I don't want another one.
no, not
Was it
to be. I
horrible?
mean, no, it's just so boring. I mean, it's
I
just
don't
like
mind
he's just
boring.
poking around, and then there's a kind of light thing that bonds it, which happened about 35 times, and I was just losing the will by the end of it. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm late.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Can I still keep talking about fillings? Because sorry, if it's all right. Because I've got a slight confession. I stopped going to the dentist because I had this sort of fear of them, and I went back to my dentist, and she was lovely, and she said, "Oh, why haven't you come back?" And it was kind of like being on the therapist's couch or something. And I think years ago, when I had a filling, it was quite harrowing.
Yes.
I can sort of remember them hollowing my tooth out with like a drill thing. I can sort of remember the feeling of it.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me. And then I think she was sort of saying that sort of found, but everything's moved on.
It really has.
And so that's exactly what I want to hear. Basically.
No, it really has. It's just boring now. And I didn't really even feel the injections. He was so
That's what someone else said
and
to
putting
me.
them in. Yeah, I didn't feel them.
Someone
But
said,
then he puts this Hannibal Lecter style mask over your mouth, which was really odd, with a little hole for where the filling is. And he said, this is amazing because it stops you kind of choking on your own saliva and that kind of stuff. Anyway, it was all very odd.
Have you had his tooth pulled out?
I have, in order to have braces, yes.
Oh.
And my braces didn't really work very well. Yeah.
Well, that's quite harrowing.
Yeah, that's not nice either.
Not at all.
Well, thank you for chatting to us. What else are you up to, apart from having a boring filling? I love the fact it was boring. Sorry, I really want to talk about that more, because that's the kind of, when you go, I think it takes the fear away from me. If there's any way you can get over my fear of heights as well during this interview, that'd be amazing.
Can I help you with your fear of... no, not really.
Oh, how you to look into people's mouths? Imagine that.
Oh, I know. Worst job in the world.
Yeah,
especially with COVID and stuff going. What if this person's got COVID? I'm covered in it now.
It's just seeds and raisins. That's the
thing. No, it really was pain. I mean, honestly, I think if you can call a trip to the dentist boring, as we said, then that's probably a good
great.
But, yeah. But there are now specialist dentists who cater for dentophobia would be a fear of teeth or me.
This is why we've got you. Here we go. We're off.
I actually don't know what a fear of dentists is. I'm going to look it up.
If you learn,
Susie, I want to throw this at you.
Yes.
Do you know where the phrase "little Herbert" comes from?
No, I don't even know what a little Herbert is.
So someone who's a sod.
Yeah, sort of a scruffy little oik.
Yeah, I get called it.
I've lost confidence now. I was going to.
No, tell me. I'm going to look it up in the OET.
I remember hearing it's some sort of French general, Herbert.
Quite possible.
That's all I know, and I thought you might be impressed by that half knowledge.
Listen, it said, would it be used affectionately, or would you say he's a right little Herbert?
Oh, I think he's affectionate.
It's affectionate.
Okay,
yeah.
It's not in the OED.
Oh.
So that's interesting.
Oxford English Dictionary. I know it
yes, so that's the
itching to say I know what that is.
It's not the one I use on the show. The one I use on the show is it's very confusing, the Oxford Dictionary of English, as opposed to the Oxford.
This is great podding now. We're off. We are off.
So the Oxford English Dictionary is the one where it records a word's meaning from the beginning of time, the beginning of its time, until the present day. And once a word goes in, it never comes out.
Never
which is amazing. So it's this vast repository of language. Whereas the Oxford Dictionary of English that I use on Countdown is a current dictionary. So words do fade away. And
I think we've spoken about this. Because new words go in because of texting and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what's got shoved out recently?
Yeah, people always ask me this as if it's something really fascinating, but it tends just to be really obsolete things. So, for example, I'm just looking in the Oxford Dictionary of English. Of course, I have these. I have these
Don't worry.
open at all times. Oh, it is there. I didn't think it would be. You know how people are beginning to talk about being on tender hooks rather than
yes.
Is
tender.
it tenter? Isn't it
It's
tenter?
tenter. Yes, I knew that.
Yes, and that's because it's kind of I think it's an old technology. So tenters were these wooden frames on which wet cloth would be stretched really tautly and then dried. And you'd often see them out in the fields and things. And I'm not sure that's how wool or cloth is dried these days, but the idea of being on tenterhooks is to be as in suspense and as stretched as tightly as those bits of wool. But
why
because
is that so satisfying to hear?
Yeah,
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's changing, and I think, give us 100 years and we'll be talking about being on tenterhooks because no one knows what tenters are anymore.
Right.
Well, it's like, and people just mishear it and go, they must have meant that, and that's why things evolve.
Yes. I love that. I love this. This is a category of language called eggcorns, where
yes,
is that what it's called? Eggcorns.
Yeah, because two American linguists overheard a woman talking about the beautiful eggcorns that were falling down from her oak tree. And that's what she'd always heard all her life, eggcorns. And you can see why, because they look like little eggs and egg cups.
Well, yeah, my sister-in-law, I think she has said something that I think will evolve too. She says pigs and troughs. Or hasn't.
Well, that makes total sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I love that, pigs and troughs.
Yeah.
There's also, I'm going to write that one down. There's also Chester drawers, as if they come from Chester.
Oh,
that's one that I've heard. And it's a doggy dog world.
A doggy dog.
Doggy dog. That sounds really nice. So they've used it as a kind of nice context.
Exactly.
Oh, it's a doggy dog world.
Doggy dog world, and like a bowl in a china shop, which sort of makes sense, but then doesn't quite make sense.
My friend used to say he thought it was bull in a china shock.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bull in a china shock.
That's like some tabloid headline. Bull in china shock.
Did you also used to have people make fun of you if you got? It reminded me of when you used to get song lyrics wrong.
Yes,
and my brother still has a couple, which he'll say to me, and it still gets to me a little bit.
Yeah,
like Petra.
What, he still believes that's what it. What's what they are.
I got it wrong.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you know Albuquerque. What's this? Albuquerque. I said house. I don't know why. House for cooking. It ended up house for cooking. And so
I love that.
And
mine was always, because I went to a convent. And this is Richard Herring's as well, isn't it? Because he named one of his tours after this, was Lord of the Dance Settee. Because it was dance, then wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the Dance, said he. So I always imagine Jesus sitting on the sofa clapping along quite happily.
Yeah, yours is forgivable, mine's idiotic.
No, we've all got them.
Mine was you can call me out.
Oh yeah,
that's not too bad.
That's better than Al.
It's all right, isn't it?
It's Al.
I couldn't believe it would be Alan. Well, I suppose it is Alan, isn't it?
But
Albert.
Yours one's fair because Paul Simon's lyrics are nonsense, aren't they, really, when you read them back? I love Paul Simon.
Oh, no, they're amazing, his lyrics. Oh, my goodness. They're poetry, I think.
Yeah, so do I.
You not think so?
You read, I read Call Me Out. It's madness.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I have to go back and
that song is particularly
reread those lyrics. But, I just think they're,
I like 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, if that helps.
Yes. Okay.
I've always felt we've got on up to now, Susie.
But those are called mondegreens. Honestly, my job comes with such weird terminology. But mondegreen, because there was a Scottish ballad that was talking about somebody was killed in battle and they laid him on the green, but it sounds like mondegreen.
Oh.
So they're called mondegreens.
I feel like I need to listen to this back and write this stuff down because I feel like I'm...
And then forget it.
Yeah, I feel if you went back and said, okay, I told you this in minute 8. What does that mean?
I'm going to test you next time we do Capstone.
Susie, how many words are there in the English Oxford Dictionary?
Okay. So it depends which dictionary you're talking about. So
I'm talking about the English Oxford.
So there are lots of Also, this is where I get really annoying, because it depends what you class as a word. Because often people say, how many words are there in English? And it depends whether you have go, going, gone, went. Yeah, well, went, I suppose, is slightly different. But do you do you class singulars as well as plurals?
I've always
and
classed them as different
words.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the OED, so the one that I use, which is
the one that gets
like
words
Bible,
pushed out.
the one that never gets words pushed out. So this is the one that I use every day, as opposed to on the show. That's got 600,000 words from
Do you know them all?
across the world. No,
You
I
do.
don't know
I bet you do.
no, well, of course I don't. No. But I do
You do.
delight in the sort of uselessness of some of them. There's one which is grubhood, which is the state of being a grub. Anyway, in my grubhood.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just really, really sad. And there's taghelm, which is the act of divination wearing a bullock's hide underneath a waterfall. So yeah, it's a strange.
And that one hasn't been pushed out because they can't be pushed out, but that one needs to be pushed out.
Oh no, I love that one. I think that's great.
Damn it.
Susie.
Yes.
Flocky knocky nihilabilification.
Yes. Okay. That was kind of an invention in order to get the longest word in the dictionary. So flocky knocky nihilabilification means the act of describing something as worthless.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I say it without any thought behind it.
I say it for no reason whatsoever.
Well, that's fine, because it was, I mean, all words are invented, but that one was particularly...
Can I say something that might make me sound clever?
Yes.
Do you know what the word for the fear of long words is?
Yes.
Do you?
I think. Isn't it sesquiped?
Hippopotamonstros.
Oh, that one. Oh, yes.
What? Say that again?
Hippopotamonstros to quiptopiddlyphobia is the fear of long words.
Oh, you've done me.
Yes. And then the overuse of long words is sesquipedalia, I think. And that means words that are 6.5 feet long or something.
What?
Words that are 6.5 feet long?
That's the literal translation of this.
Printed out.
It's one of those,
printed out. Like.
Why is this so satisfying?
It's one of those really stupid things. Like, if you have a lisp, you can't say lisp. And a palindrome is not a palindrome.
No.
And
can you give us some palindromes, please?
What's the type of word that like plop that sounds like it is?
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia. Love them.
Yes.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah. I'm desperately trying to sound clever.
No, you are clever. And I'm definitely not funny. So
I thought you said
anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Yes. That's another one I think that was probably made up in order to get in the dictionary. It's the longest one. But
I get all my long words from the game show in the 1990s presented by Paul Coyer. Remember?
What's that?
I just remember they used to throw, the contestants used to go, flocky knocky, no, that'll be 9 points to June.
What was the context?
What was it called?
It was really good. It was like
what did you have to do?
You'd have a square of 9 smaller squares with letters. It's a good show. What was it called? I'll come back to you.
Okay.
It was really good.
It was like crossword clues, or
so you can play it with a number plate on a car where you might have WRT.
Yeah, and then what?
And you have to come up with a word.
Fill in the letters in between
like
it.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, like wart. Yeah.
Yeah, like worktop or something.
Oh, that's good. That's better. So the longest word that you can come up with. That's excellent.
Yes.
I can't believe I did that.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
Catchword. It was called Catchword.
Yes.
It was really good.
That is bringing back memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
I loved it.
Joe, do you feel like you've got better at countdown over there?
No.
Do you?
No.
I think you have. You've definitely got better at the maths.
Maybe.
I never know how much you're deliberately not getting them or how much you actually are getting them.
Susie.
Oh,
yeah.
Would you play Joe on this episode?
Can we have a game of countdown?
Yeah,
in a minute.
Yes. I can't. Those conundrums are so difficult.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah. I've got the conundrum 3 times, and I always joke about it on the show. But when it comes up, I find it so difficult. It makes me feel like I'm seasick.
Okay.
Because I can't. My brain. Because John's really good at them,
Mm.
And obviously, but I can't get my brain to click into moving letters about. I get fixated in, like, if
Yeah.
I see ing, for example,
Yeah.
I'm like, right, if this word hasn't got ing
Yeah.
in it, I'm out.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's very true.
Yeah.
It's the red
Yeah.
herrings, isn't
Or
it?
ION. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
ERS, so it goes ERS. So I'm just going, right, it needs to be something ERS. And I get frustrated. My legs start to sort of ache and I feel sick and I have to sort of bail out because otherwise on telly I'm going,
It must be really nerve-wracking under the lights playing, because I played this with Naomi just at home. I got really stressed, and so being under the lights and being
sitting
filmed
beneath the clock, because that clock is really loud, isn't
it's
it?
horrendous.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
horrendous.
What
Yeah.
did it that?
It fills
Yeah.
the whole studio. It's like you can't hear anything else. You wouldn't be able to have a conversation through it, really.
What?
No way. No. Although
I'm
Jimmy tries.
fascinated by behind the scenes of TV shows, Susie, because so I'm in my element here.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
first of all, the set is actually as big as you would think, I think, because
big,
most of the time, if you go to like BBC Breakfast or something, you can't believe how small it is. But with Countdown, it is as big as you would
weird.
expect.
You're really spaced out, aren't you?
What's behind your desk, Susie? What are you looking at when you sit?
So
Have
on
you
the
got
desk,
a shelf?
no, I've just got on Countdown as opposed to regular Countdown, I use a printed dictionary. So on regular Countdown, I've got the online dictionary.
Oh.
Because it's on a much faster update cycle. So now, because
we
not many
piss
people
about
use
so much as you've got like 45 minutes to find a word, haven't you? Yeah.
Well, it's more that the printed dictionaries, I mean, not many people use them these days, so they're not reprinted very often. So when there's a new word, you might not find it in the dictionary, and it would be really awkward to have to disallow fracking, for example, which is not very new, but say that one. I'd have to disallow it because it wasn't in the printed dictionary, but of course it will be in the online one because they can just update it all the time. So that's why I use it. So I've got that, and then I've got, together with the guest next to me, there's a monitor showing Rachel's letters, the ones that she puts up.
I love this.
And that's it, actually. Yeah, I've just got.
Do you have a pack of mints or anything, or like a?
If Joe Brown's on,
have a bottle of
Haribo's. You have a bottle of water.
Haribo's?
Joe Brown and I, we always just, down multi-packs of Haribo's. And, well, we're quite lucky on Catstown, aren't we, Joe? Because quite often we get food and drink and things because they're part of the props.
Sport. Yeah. And sometimes there'll be like a big cookie and it'll be a real cookie.
And those beers that you bring in, Joe, are they real beers? When you're knocking back the beers at the letters board.
Oh, no.
They're not?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, sorry.
It's just pop.
It's just pop. I think it's, sometimes it's just water.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, a can of water or something.
Yeah.
This is a lovely little insight, isn't it? I love
The
it.
cards that you put in the letters, is it easy to fit them in, Joe?
Yes, and I've got a
is.
little confession. I've nicked one.
Oh, everyone has.
I've got one
let's
in
have a
here.
look.
Oh, where is it?
Oh,
Where is it? Oh, because I found it the other day.
look at that!
Oh, you've got one.
I've got loads.
I've got a U. I've got a U.
Why did you go for a U?
Because this was really early on, like in week 2 or something. Because I didn't
Just
think.
whatever you could find.
Yeah, I was so freaked out because someone had said, "Please, like, no one steal a letter." Like they asked us, begged us, like, please don't, because. Right, Susie, we have been told from day one, like, that it's like hallowed ground, the Countdown. It's like, especially me, don't break anything on the set. Don't.
Yeah.
Because you remember when Sean chucked an old rag at the clock or something?
Yes, I think the clock's been in jeopardy a couple of times.
Yeah.
And also that, the circular bit where all the.
In the middle.
Yes, or the bit in the middle where,
Yeah.
the dancers come on or Jimmy's doing whatever he's doing. That has to be specially reinforced for Countdown because we're not allowed to walk on it for regular Countdown.
Oh, really?
We fall straight
Love
through.
this. I love this. Where's the clock stored?
Oh, that's a great question.
In a giant hangar up at Media City. Yeah.
Susie, don't you love it as well? You know, when you walk to the studio and David, there's like, you might have been there, like, yeah, you know where we did that pilot? That was in Manchester. That back bit, you know, where you walk along, there's a big.
Is that where you film Countdown?
Yeah, in one of those. We would have done it in that studio. but there'll just be like a big sort of prop from another show, and you'll go, like Doctor whatever.
Well, yes,
would be.
the TARDIS. There's a TARDIS there, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a TARDIS. There's all sorts of stuff from other stuff going on.
Yeah,
and it'll just be like, there's a bit of Coronation Street or something, and you just be like,
I always try and I do ask, but I try and pinch the props or the mascots. So I'm just going to show you one.
I've got some here as well. Yeah. What one have you?
This is Sean's. Do you remember? He had a whole load of...
Beware clever women.
Clever woman.
Do you remember this?
One of those.
I'll get my one. Hold
on. Okay. What else have I got?
Oh,
Barbie Susie.
Could you buy that?
No.
Oh,
what's that one?
Did you get a Barbie? Me?
Oh yes. Do you remember this?
Oh yes.
Should I get you? It's Russian dolls of the.
Oh, so am I in there? They're not all Jimmy getting smaller.
No, there's Jimmy, there's Rachel, and then there's you inside, and then John's inside you. If you pardon the expression.
Who's the smallest?
John. He's always the smallest because he's small. And there's Susie.
Oh, that's fab. I love that. Do you remember the tea towels that you had made with my image on quite early on?
Oh,
when you were my stalker.
Oh, sort of.
I always tried to get.
Was there ones I've been taking pictures of you with a long lens,
telescopic lens? Yeah. We've had fun on that show.
How many years is it now? Do you think? Have a guess. I know. Really.
I actually was thinking maybe was it about 8?
12.
Or was it 10? 12.
Yeah. Really?
12 years we've been doing that show. Wow. We just won a comedy award.
I know.
Did you go?
I didn't. I take it you didn't as well then.
No, I went to one. I think it was one of the first times that we were nominated, and I thought that everyone would be there and we'd just have a jolly old time. And I was the only one there. And because I was the only one there, the camera had nowhere to go but me when the nominations came up.
Oh, wow.
And it's one of those ones that it's like a drone operated, so it just zooms up the aisle. Anyway, and we didn't win. So I didn't go, but of course this time we did. John was there, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, yeah. I've told this 100 times, but the last time I went to Comedy Awards, someone took me aside, an audience member, said it was the worst one they'd been to, and why they felt like it was the need to tell me that. I found a little.
Who took you aside and said that?
An audience member as I was leaving.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Well, that's nice of them.
I know.
Yeah.
Did you say you were comparing?
No, I was just in the audience.
Okay.
I was in the audience. I was basically because like our some award or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was leaving. She went, "Yeah, I've been coming here for years, and that was easily the worst one." Okay, thank you.
All right.
Lots of love.
I've just also remembered, Joe, that you and I did the show with Davina.
Wait, I was telling David.
£1
£1 million drop. Wasn't that stressful?
It was stressful, and I let you down because
the Harry Potter thing.
It was Daniel Radcliffe, wasn't it? And we went for Andy Murray.
Yes.
This was who had the highest income.
Oh.
And we thought Andy Murray, but actually, of course, it was Daniel Radcliffe.
When you look back.
Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah, because he was given.
That looked like a stressful game to play.
It was unbelievable. But do you remember Davina McCall saying, we were like, is this, I don't know if you remember, she was like, is this fun to do? She went, just to warn you, it is incredibly stressful. Sorry? Because it's designed, like, it's so clever because you do start with $1 million and then just like 300,000 just goes, whoop, gone.
Yes.
What?
I know. And it's for charity, and that's the worst.
Did we end up with sod all? Like, did they give us like 1,000, 5,000?
We had something small, but we did quite well until we got to that question. And then, have you done what's the one with the merry-go-round with Michael McIntyre?
Oh, no, a wheel or something. The wheel.
No, have you done that one?
No, I've not seen it. What do you have to? Isn't
the pressure on that one is quite a lot because you are. Basically, you have to try and help a contestant.
Oh, you have a specialist subject or something? Is that
have a specialist subject, yeah. And mine was English, obviously, but you have to try and help them answer a question. And the wheel's quite random, so you might end up with a category you know nothing about. And you just feel that responsibility of getting it right for them.
Oh, God,
so, that's good.
That's what I'm remembering that.
But you'd hate it, Joe, because you do. I don't know if you also have fear of vertigo because you do. you do get spun quite fast. I know it's weird, but you do.
It's quite a good idea, spinning like 8 celebrities around.
And you have to do that horrible wavy thing, which is also not really me, as you know.
No. Can we play a game of Countdown?
Can we? Oh, it's all here.
This is on the app.
Yeah.
Susie, can you remember any Countdown contestants who have been like who's the super duper Countdown contestant over the years? Who's the champion of champions?
We've had so many.
Really?
Well, recently we had Tom Stevenson, who got the highest score ever, sort of aggregate score. He was lovely. Kurt Bevins was amazing. He's now I don't know what the official title is for somebody who calls out the scores at darts, but he's on the telly all the time, and his brain was astonishing. I don't really want to say, because there are so many brilliant ones. I'm going to end up, not mentioning one of them and then feeling very bad.
Do you remember Clark Carlisle? Who was,
Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was amazing.
He was amazing. I ended up staying friends with him. He was, he was a professional footballer. David.
Oh yeah,
played in every one of the. He's a good trivia question. He's played in all 4 divisions, basically.
Has he?
Yeah, and a
lovely human being.
Lovely man, and bright as a button. And he was a Countdown winner, wasn't he? Wasn't he like a super winner or something? Wasn't he? Won like 5. What's it when you win?
Octo-champ.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was an Octo-champ, but he came on for one of the Countdown things.
Yeah, he did. That's how I met him. Yeah. Striking man as well. Stunning.
Beautiful.
Really,
beautiful.
Had everything.
And it's just had so many, horrible things happen in his life and so many difficulties, but he just incredibly strong.
he was lovely to me. He was very nice.
Yes.
Was Richard Whiteley lovely, Susie?
Yes, Richard was a kind of joker, very grumpy sometimes. So the thing I loved about Richard is he wore his heart on his sleeve. So when he was irritable, you bloody well knew it. And that was fine, because it was a very honest kind of grumpiness.
Yeah.
But a real intelligence there that kind of was hidden below all the puns. So I think he'd interviewed every single prime minister in his lifetime. So quite an astute political interviewer and commentator, and also I just loved Richard because he just delighted in words. His hands would do that sort of thing, and he'd just get, when leotard came up or limpet, and every time limpet came up, he'd say, "How do limpets make love?" He'd just throw that out in the ether. So yeah, they were the dream team, weren't they, Richard and Carol?
Yeah,
and they knew each other inside out, and he is still much missed, and we have the Richard Whiteley Memorial Cup too.
Right.
So yeah, they were the UA Countdowners, and we follow in their wake.
How did you get the job in the first place?
I got the job because I joined Oxford University Press, who published the dictionaries used on the show, and my boss said to me, we have a relationship with this TV program, you might have heard of it, and we provide the word referees to sit in the corner, and would you like to do it? And because they need more people. And at that time,
was it random then before then? Was it like different people on every week? Or something?
Yeah, well, there was a team who rotated. So,
right.
And there was for many years after I joined. Anyway, I said no quite a few times. And in the end, either he was desperate or he just essentially made it sound as though my job depended on it. So I went, and I didn't really have much of a screen test. I remember I was just plonked next to lovely Rula Lenska, and
wow.
Okay. Everyone was very kind, and I just looked, it's still there on YouTube, I just looked frozen.
Wow. Yeah, how nervous. That must have been a nerve-wracking day, the first one.
It was. Do you know what, though? It's weird. I'd kind of been out of the telly. Well, I'd never really been in the telly loop, to be honest. I always had my head in a book, so I was never entranced by the TV world. I mean, I grew up with Morecambe and Wise and all of that, and loved all of those Saturday evenings where we'd all sit around as family. Ask the Family. You guys are probably too young for that, but do you remember Ask the Family?
No, I think so. No.
Robert Robinson. It was like a family quiz. It was really good. Anyway, and so it wasn't it didn't represent this sort of amazing mystical world that I felt real pressure to excel in. I was nervous just because I thought I was a fraud, but less nervous because it was telly.
Yeah.
So I've never wanted to be on telly because I've wanted to be on telly. I've just loved what I do, and I'm really lucky that I found that gig. And then Catsman came along, and that's been brilliant too.
Yeah. What was that like? The transition into Cats?
Oh yeah, really bumpy, because I don't know if Joe will remember this, but I felt real pressure to be funny when I went on that show, because I thought that's what everyone was there to be. And I'm genuinely, I'm not being overly modest here, I'm genuinely only ever funny by mistake. So when the audience really laughs at something, quite often I'm like, oh, I must have just said something funny, but I don't quite know what it is.
Welcome to
and then I'll realise a couple of hours later. So there's probably about an hour, isn't there, Joe? At least 45 minutes of comedy before they introduce us in the corner.
About an hour and 10 minutes of stuff before they go over to you. Yeah.
Yes. So all the mascots and the introductions and then
I can't believe every time it takes that long, because it's insane.
It is a bit insane. Sometimes you kind of think, can they just not hurry it on a bit? But I think it's because it's so relaxed, they get the best comedy out of everybody, and then they just, but we record for about 3 hours each show, and then they cut back to a telly hour.
I remember when we first did it, it was so easy to be funny on it because it was such a hallowed ground.
Yes.
So I remember looking at a letter and turning and looking at it before I put it up on the thing, and everyone sort of going, ooh, ooh. And you can't do that. And obviously that's been destroyed now. And there's no sort of that. But it just felt like you didn't have to do much for people to think it was outlandish on there. It was
that's true, actually. It's the subversiveness of it. I was talking the other day, I often talk about swearing because it's one of my favourite subjects, and where will swear words come from. And I really always remember you or Sean or John, all you had to say was "fuck off, Jimmy," and the whole audience would just kind of snigger because this was Countdown, and you just
you can't behave like that. Yeah.
No, and. So I was just, I always kind of dwell on the fact that, or reflect on the fact that our swear words still have power, even though people think we're just throwing them in and they don't mean anything anymore. In comedy, I think they really do. And you're right. It was holy grail. I think it still is, because I think it's the format that makes it so successful, because people are playing along whilst laughing their heads off.
Yeah.
It's quite a magical mix.
It is, because they think, it's that spine of the show that gives it the engine or whatever. Because the jokes don't work because it's all without it, because it's all about ruining the game and then getting back to the game and then ruining the game and getting back to the game. So if you've got nothing to ruin, you've got nothing to...
So genuinely, when you say I've got a 4 or I've got a 5, sometimes you have got more than that, haven't you?
Yes.
But,
John's the one to talk to about this, because John's a big old brain.
Yes.
And he'll get like a long word if that creates tension. He'll have a funny word if he doesn't need tension. Like he gets different answers depending on what's happening in the room. So he'll go, there's nothing funny happening, so I'll do a funny one. Or if you need competition to make a bit of tension, he'll then give he goes, it'd be good if I give a 7 there, because that will mean,
even though he's got something longer.
Yeah.
I feel like that's quite a big sacrifice for John, because the game really matters to him, doesn't it? And it really began to matter for Sean as well.
Yeah.
Like, he was so, oh my God, why are we here? What are we doing? This is a rubbish game at the beginning. And then the more he excelled in it, the more invested he got. And I always thought he was only half joking when he was berating Jimmy for bending the rules for John or whatever.
Yeah. Well, because it also only worked. We realised it only worked when there was competition.
Yes.
You couldn't not have competition, and that's why it needed John so much. Because John is competitive, both on and off, character or whatever. And so he was the driving force with the competition. And without him, there wasn't any momentum.
I think that's really true. But also, it seems like he could run away with a victory sometimes, but actually sacrifices that.
He definitely does. Yeah, he definitely keeps it in touching distance,
achievable range.
And stuff like that. And I remember talking to him, and I was like, God, I don't have any of that going on in my head. But like John will just know how. It's sort of producing a bit, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's sort of producing the game in the middle of it and stuff like that. So that's what's very impressive about him. I'm just thinking of another word to write, Willy. Another way to say Willy in a funny way.
Susie, where does fuck off come from?
Well, the story is that it is a backronym, or an acronym for fornication under command of the king. A backronym is when you kind of create an acronym to fit a word in retrospect. So the idea is that in times of Great Plague, the monarch was very worried about the size of the population. So he would order couples to go forward and procreate. And so they would hang a sign, FUCK, on their door saying fornicating under command of the king. Otherwise, they shouldn't be disturbed, which is literally fucking nonsense. So it sadly has got a much darker history. And we think it goes back to a Latin word, pugnare, which gave us pugnacious. And because of the very first references of fuck are actually in surnames, weirdly. And a few place names, and a kestrel was called a wind fucker. and that was because it strikes.
I'm such a child.
I think that's quite poetic because it's all about
lovely.
hitting. So it strikes the wind with its wings. And I think he was unfortunately called Roger, the first one of the first surnames that we have, and he was Fuck Beggar. That was his surname.
Roger Fuck Beggar.
Yes, but I think, unfortunately, what he was doing is he was hitting homeless people essentially. So really nasty individual. It would have morphed quite a lot to get there, but they're really 4 letters in search and etymology because we're not completely sure where it comes from. But that's our best guess.
Why is
but
it
definitely
so
not
powerful? Well, it's so funny.
My mum loves going to see birds of prey. I'd love to say, let's go and have a look at some wind fuckers.
Wind fucker.
David, I'm saying a type of bird, Mum. That's what you'd do, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I think that's really nice. And actually, with the C word as well, that is first recorded in surnames too. And also, it really wasn't improper. Well, fuck was a little bit improper, but not taboo. The real taboo in those days were, religious profanity and blasphemy and saying God, or whatever. So, which is why we have so many euphemisms like gore blimey and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the C word you will find in anatomy manuals or textbooks for gynecologists or whatever. It was just.
Is it from the word quaint?
No. So we think it goes back to an Old English word. Well, it may. I think how are you spelling quaint here? I'm going to double check here what that.
Yes. I think I just remember when we studied Chaucer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It had lots of different forms. I think it goes back possibly to a Latin word meaning a valley. But let me see. There was count, conter, lots and lots of different ones.
What are you looking at there?
I'm looking at the C word in the OED.
Right.
That says the word is recorded earliest in place names, by names, and surnames. Compare, for example, Grope Cunt Lane, which is in Oxford, which is now Magpie Lane.
Wow.
Some 20 instances of this name are recorded throughout the country, although all are now lost. It has also been suggested that the word was applied at an early date to certain topographical features, such as a cleft in a small hill or mound, a wooded gully or valley, and a cleft with a stream running through it. It's. I mean, in Latin they had cunus, cunns, which was cunnilingus essentially, which is obviously kind of linked, and you'll find that a lot in Roman graffiti. So Roman graffiti was outrageous. It was really obscene.
Was it?
Yes. And cunus there meant female genitals. So it's got a long history to it, but it then kind of worked its way into Old English. So yeah, they've all got really interesting histories. The ones that we do know definitely are shit. That one is definitely Anglo-Saxon, and it's from shitter, which meant excrement or defecation. It wasn't rude at all. Bollocks, not rude, just your testicles.
Tosspot?
His pot.
Either or.
What did you say?
I always want to wear tosspot. What is that?
Oh, I love that. Yes, so nothing to do with a tosser, which you can guess where that one comes from, and everything to do with a drunkard. So it was somebody who would toss back their beer in quick succession.
Right.
They would toss back the alcohol and then became really objectionable.
Oh,
a tosser.
Yeah, well, tosser.
That one
tosser
makes so much sense. You know, some of them you're like, I don't know. That one you're like, completely.
Yeah, so it wasn't particularly rude until it. I mean, there are so many brilliant insults in the dictionary. We do insults really well.
Susie, I've got some here. They're not insults, but bite the bullet.
Yes, bite the bullet is
I love
probably.
that just bang.
No, it's probably from military hospitals before they had anaesthetic. So in order to withstand the pain, the soldiers would literally clench down on a bullet, which is what I should have been doing in the dentist, essentially.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, bite the bullet. So it's just, take the pain.
What's rule of thumb? I've heard different ones of that.
Ooh,
oh, yeah.
Very nice.
There's a lovely story attached to that, which is that a man by law was allowed to hit his partner.
That's what I'd heard,
with a ruler that was no longer than the size of his thumb.
Yeah.
There's been no law found.
I've heard that was nonsense. That wasn't true.
Yeah, I think it is. There are loads of lovely myths like that, and very often the stories are brilliant, like the fornicating under command of the king one. But there's never been any law discovered that specified that. Thank God.
Yeah. Got another one, David?
Yeah, definitely.
Is this testing yours? Is this all right? I just suddenly thought, is this like doing your GCSE?
I don't mean to test.
No, it's fine. I might not know the answer.
I sort of just think you'll know.
I may not, but I probably won't.
Cat got your tongue.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Probably the cat of Nine Tails, which was the torture instrument punishment that on board ships where they had this whip with 9 lashes. And they think no room to swing a cat also possibly comes from that.
I think I know one, but I don't know if it's true. But son of a gun. Can I say what I think it is? Was a gun another word for a prostitute?
Oh.
It may have been, but that's not where they think it comes from.
I thought it was calling someone, but basically it's like calling someone a son of a...
But it may be. I'll have a look at gun in the OED and see if it's got that meaning. But son of a gun essentially was recorded in a ship's manual if when there was shore leave, the wives and mistresses of sailors were allowed to come on board, and if they weren't married, in other words, if in those days the child was regarded as illegitimate, then recorded in the ship's manual would be that a baby was born, but they were son of a gun because they were conceived under the gun barrels on the ship.
That's better than mine.
But I'm just looking to see if it was applied to.
I heard a similar thing. I think when you say it and you go, maybe I've made bits of this. I'm part of the problem of why things change.
No, but that's
and
how
I
English
sort of say
evolves.
things like that with authority when you're not here.
Yeah, same.
It's fine. I've had my own things where I've got it completely wrong. This
is brilliant. Can we
ask another question?
Yes.
What was the last word to go into the dictionary?
Oh, I have no idea.
Isn't it one point of the year where, like, I always feel like it's like transfer
not
season,
anymore.
like part.
There were quarterly updates, basically to the dictionary, but I am not involved in putting new words in anymore, and they're sort of drip fed, to be honest, because it's so easy to put a word in. So the honest answer is I don't know what the last one would be.
There was one that annoyed me because I think it was like a texting term or something. That sort of some of them. Did you ever go in and go, oh, because it feels like, I don't know, text speak or something that goes in, or I don't know. I was like, oh, that sounds crap.
Yes, sometimes. I mean, there was a huge outcry when literally got the different meaning in the Oxford Dictionary. So as well as meaning literally, it can also mean not literally, as in I literally died laughing or we literally blew the roof off or whatever.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There was a lot of controversy about that, but text speak, there was, I remember going to the British Library quite a few years ago now, and they had this brilliant exhibition called Evolving English. And they had this Victorian love poem that had been written almost entirely in what we would call text speak. So it was in in excellent, you excel, no, in something you excel. Anyway, I can't remember what it was, but you would have thought it was incredibly modern, because it was written in, every letter was riffed on, like, you are great with the number, etc.
Yeah.
So showing that people have been doing this for a very long time. And okay was basically a riff on the misspelling of all correct. So it was ORL and then KORREKT. So even 200 years ago, people were mucking around.
I love that.
Annoying misspellings and stuff. So a lot of the research is showing that actually the internet and online language and text speak and things, although we don't really use text speak now, but that actually they've been expanding English rather than, reducing its scope, and that actually those who can play around with language in that way are normally the ones who know the rules, because you have to know the rules before you break them, kind of thing. So, yeah.
I feel I've said a lot of thick things in this interview.
I've got another
question.
So
remotely thick things.
What's your favourite word for the way it sounds?
I know your worst word. I think I remember you saying.
For the way it sounds coming out.
I've got over the M word, Joe, I think. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got over that one, because everyone had that one.
Yeah, but I remember
I had to move on. Yes. That and gusset.
Gusset was the other one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I agreed with both.
Flange. But my favourite word is probably, the one that I always give is halcyon, just because I love the sound of it. Halcyon days, and also apricity, which I'm always trying to bring back on Twitter. And apricity's got one record in the Oxford English Dictionary, and it means the warmth of the sun on a winter's day.
Ooh. Oh, and I do like that.
And it sounds...
Alan Titchmarsh says there's a day in March when you get your clothes off and you put your T-shirt on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just your T-shirt. Nothing else.
That would be...
That's the day he spends a couple of days in the clink.
Yeah, that too.
My favourite words are chocolate pudding.
Chocolate pudding?
Yeah,
you're right. It sounds really rich and unctuous, isn't it? It does sound brilliant.
It's got a bouncy and a sticky. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got any, Joe?
I want to say I do, but I feel I'll just make it up. I think I'll go, I'm going to say, like, I'm looking around the room going, what do I like in here? But then I think in a couple of weeks I'll go, I should have said that to Susie, because that's got a lovely rhythm to it. Something like that.
Rhythm's a nice one.
Rhythm. I should have said rhythm.
Difficult to spell rhythm.
Good.
Yes.
Rhythm.
It is. You have to remember, rhythm helps your two hips move.
Rhythm
helps your two hips move.
Rhythm helps your two hips.
Do you remember? Do you remember the thing at school? I before E, except after C.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was an episode of QI, I think.
Now.
Oh no, it's just we don't really have any rules in English, because it's had so many different influences over the years. But I think it was QI. It was probably Stephen Fry. Said there was something like 928 exceptions to that rule.
Oh,
it is a rubbish rule.
I am living in thick street.
There are kind of, no, you're not. There are things because I learned that one too. But there are things that are sort of unspoken rules or kind of instinctive laws of language, like there's the rule of it sounds horrible, but ablaut reduplication. Okay, but what that means is that we don't eat a cat kit or wear flop flips or play pong ping, because we know which sound to put first to make it sound more mellifluous, and any new
me and David both had our mouth
will follow that.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, or dong ding or
dong ding.
I mean this genuinely.
Bing.
When you say things like that, I think it takes me about 2 or 3 seconds to understand. Then it goes in. When you explain that, I was like, not getting this. Now I get it. Like it's yeah.
That's partly me, and it's also partly because, as I say, they've got these horrible labels to them. These things. I wish that we could make it more exciting. Like the databases that we look at. If we're working on dictionaries, are just the best thing ever. They've got newspapers, scholarly journals, tabloids, chat room conversations, transcripts of conversations on the street. So all kinds of living language, but they're called corpora. I mean, how is that going to get anyone excited?
Needs a sexier word. Do you still do all this stuff like outside of your other stuff, like your books and Countdown and stuff like that? Do you still work?
No, sadly. I work with dictionaries, but I don't compile the entries. There's only one person actually working on the Oxford Dictionary that we use on Countdown, but on the OED there are hundreds and hundreds of people. Do
you know the one person? No. Do you know them?
Yes, Angus. He's brilliant.
Angus.
Angus. Yeah, he's great. So I'll always email him if something comes up on Countdown. I say, Angus, this wasn't in. I don't understand. And he'll say, there's not enough evidence for it. Oh, I'll put it on my list, kind of thing. So yeah, imagine his power.
I'd love to be able to do that too.
Why is it satisfying to? Why is this?
Because it's that moment. Oh, it's that moment. Yes.
Yeah.
Have we got time for a quick game of Countdown? Because I really want to.
Do we have to do the maths as well?
Nah. Oh, do one of each. We do one of each.
Let me get a pen. Hang on.
While you get a pen, I'm going to go wee wee.
Okay.
Where does wee wee come from?
She's gone.
Where does what come from? Wee wee.
Where does wee wee? Word wee wee
I think it's just kids' language, isn't it? Like.
Is it?
I think so.
Have you got a pen,
wee-wee.
David? You don't think you've got time for a wee wee now?
Hang on.
How far, your toilet's right. Oh, sorry about this.
It's fine.
Right, should we have a quick game? Well,
okay.
One and one, yeah?
Okay. How exciting.
Yeah, one word, one... should we do it for a fiver?
One word each?
Okay.
What do you mean?
I don't know
like
really.
Two letters round.
Two letters round, yeah.
Two letters round and one numbers round, is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So
well, it depends how the app works, to be fair. It might be here for around an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, player one.
Who's that?
Don't know.
Susie, you could be player one.
Okay, Susie.
Okay. I'm just going to check my, I've got a briefing call for something that it's at 12:30. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's 12:30.
We get this a lot as well. I've got a briefing
call. It's 12:30. It's all good.
Yeah. We've heard it all, Susie. We've heard it all. How to get out.
You play Countdown every time. Right.
Okay. Over to you, Susie. Vowel or consonant?
Okay. Consonant, please.
N.
Vowel.
O.
Consonant.
L.
Yep.
Okay, what have we got? N-O-L. N-O-L. Consonant, please.
N.
Vowel.
A.
Oh, shit.
I'm loving this. I'm playing this with Susie. This is amazing.
Consonant.
W.
Vowel.
E.
3 vowels. Consonant, please. Oh, no, we've got one more, haven't we? And another consonant, please.
Z.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I've got Nolna words. Is that right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So you've got NLNAWERZ.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, David, you got 30 seconds.
And your game starts now. Nolna words.
Oh, no.
Okay, I've got a 7.
I've got a 5. I've got 2 5s.
What's your 7, please?
Warzone.
What?
Oh, beautiful.
You use the Z. I crossed the Z out. Yeah. I said, I'm never going to use the Z.
That's lovely.
Crossed it out. But that's pointless having.
I totally get that.
And Joe, please, what's your 5?
I better just check that is actually one word.
Yes.
Ooh.
I've got alone.
Alone.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's 2 words, then.
Yeah, I could be in with a shout, yeah?
Oh, no, it's okay.
Oh.
It's all right. I'm all right.
So you just dictionary cornered yourself.
I did.
Yeah. Any 9s they could have had, Susie?
Okay.
Not that I could find.
Listen to this, Joe. Listen to this. The top word from that selection.
Oh, you're doing Susie's bit.
The top word from that selection of letters is Warzone.
No!
Oh, really?
You got the best one! No
Amazing.
way.
Wow. Okay.
That's amazing.
Fantastic. I thought there must be an 8 in there somewhere.
Wow.
Amazing. A region in which a war is being fought.
Wow. That's
So
brilliant.
I'll keep
That's
scores.
fantastic.
Susie and Joe. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Right.
God,
Okay.
you are good.
It's not
aren't
over
you?
yet, David. It's not over
No,
yet.
it's 15
No.
rounds.
Said math.
No, we can't because Susie's got a briefing.
I have got a briefing call.
Yeah.
Seems quite vague what the briefing is, but she has a briefing. She needs to leave for a briefing.
Okay. Go on then, Joe. Letters round.
Consonant, please.
F.
What was that?
F.
And another consonant, please.
H.
And a vowel.
A.
And another vowel.
A.
And a consonant.
S.
And a vowel.
E.
And a consonant.
C.
And another consonant.
N.
And a vowel.
A.
Oh, no, I should have said consonant. Can I say consonant? No, I can't now. Can I?
No.
Damn. 3A.
A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because there's FHAASECNA.
FHAASECNA. That's it.
All right, brilliant. Thank you.
And the time starts now.
Don't need to fill, David.
That's just quite hard.
Pack it in. Oh, this is rubbish, isn't it? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
dear. Oh, I've only got a 6.
Oh, I've got 5 again.
This was really hard.
Okay, Susie, what's your 6, please?
Chafes.
Chase.
Chafes.
Chafes?
As in all these
Yeah, these shorts are
shorts
chafing.
are chafing.
Oh, chafe.
Right.
I'm chafing at the moment as well. That's annoying.
There you go.
I'm
And
chafing
Joe?
quite badly. And my 5 is faces.
Faces. So that's chafes
So I think there's going to be a 7 there.
and faces.
Sanchez.
So the results are in chafes and faces.
What was that?
And
what could we had, David?
Bear with me. Something out there.
You can't bear with on the show, David.
Oh, Natchez, which is a 6. So you got the
Nachez. Oh, that's lovely, that word.
Pride or pleasure, especially at the achievements of one's children.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great Yiddish word. Okay. Oh, so 6 was that's good.
Okay.
So you got the longest again.
Well, it was a pretty difficult selection, that one, to be fair.
You're really playing down how good you are at this.
Yeah.
No, I'm really not. Now we've got numbers and you'll soon see.
Numbers.
Okay, am I back in with a shout?
Okay.
Please not a number 75, because that's where it all goes wrong.
I agree. Right, so do you want to choose the number?
Okay, Susie, 6 random tiles, choose 6 number tiles, or one from the top, any followers.
I will go for 2 big ones.
I don't know how to do that.
Just press whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just go.
One from the top and any other 5.
Yes, that's fine. One from the top and then the other 5, please.
Okay.
The app has limitations, I believe.
Okay, so the numbers are 7, 4, 3, 2,
Why
5,
so
100.
Quickly?
I don't know, it's stressing me out.
7, 4, 3, 2, 5, 100.
Yeah. 7, 4, 3, 2, 5, 100, and the number is 806.
806. Okay. This has got to be doable.
Oh, I've got it already. Yeah, I've beaten you. So the presenter of this...
Sugar pants.
Okay.
Okay, Susie, what have you got?
806, I think.
806.
For God's sake. 807.
807.
Right.
Susie, how did you manage 806, please?
I did 5 plus 3 is 8 times 100
Yeah.
plus 4 plus 2.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake, it was right in front of me.
It really was.
I wrote my thing so badly that I didn't see that was a 2.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm a little bit embarrassed because I really need... Okay, forget it. It's fine. So, do you want to know the final scores?
Yeah.
Susie wins with 23 and I got 0.
Well,
pleased with yourself?
Remember, I do this day in, day out, and if it had been number 75...
Yeah, Joe's only done 18 series.
I've only myself done it for 12 years. So, you can't, you know.
Oh, that was an absolute honour to do that with you, Susie.
That was great fun. Thank you, Susie.
Oh, you're very welcome. I also just have to realise that I just checked Warzone in the Oxford English Dictionary as opposed to the dictionary that we use on the show.
Yeah.
I'm just going to double check.
Huge moment.
So I could have 5 points here.
Oh, it's 2 words, isn't there?
Yes! Oh, okay, so final score was Susie 16, Joe 5.
Yay!
Oh, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Only lost by 11. What a comeback kid.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
So,
you're way too honest.
Obviously, in some dictionaries, it's 1 word, and in the one that counts, it's 2 words.
Wasn't prepared to take that risk. Susie.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, you had it, and then you discounted it.
Exactly.
I knew that, so I double checked. Yeah.
Oh, what a
amazing!
comeback. What a turnaround!
That's great.
Well, thank
you, Susie. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, and
that was great fun.
Sitting through my numb. I say sitting through my numb mouth. That sounds all wrong. You know what I mean. It was lovely.
Susie, do you want to plug your podcast?
Okay. I have a podcast which is called Something Rhymes with Purple, and I'm on it with Giles Brandreth, and it is all about, I talk about words and etymology, of course, and Giles just drops names because he's met everyone in the world.
Yeah.
Including Michael Jackson in a lift.
What?
And this was the latest one that he sprung on me. He was in a lift with Michael Jackson with lots of bodyguards, obviously, and he said to Michael Jackson, so lovely to meet you. I really, really admire you. And Michael Jackson said absolutely nothing. And as this is Giles' version. And as the lift doors open, Michael Jackson exited, and Giles said to one of the bodyguards, "Oh dear, I hope I didn't offend him." And he said, "It's a Monday, sir. Mr. Jackson doesn't speak on Mondays.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that great? I love that. Anyway, that was the latest gem.
Wow. What an insane thing to decide not to do.
I know. It may come with
makes him sound potty.
A healthy dollop of Giles.
Where does potty come from? Sorry,
potty.
I could do that.
I think that comes from being a crackpot, and the pot is your head. So, and crazy, again, the idea is having cracks. We have crazy paving. It's the idea of having cracks on the way. So,
and bonkers is being hit on the head?
Bonkers is the bonds. And a barn pot. Oh, God. Yeah, I could go on. I'm going to go now. Off for my briefing.
Your briefing.
Thank you so much.
Lovely to see you. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.